This is the only album that was recorded. Fuck, dude. Let me start the fuck over.
Welcome back to Asinine Radio, a weekly podcast where we talk about music, and, well, that's pretty much it. So, let's go!
This is Asinine Radio. This is the weekly music podcast where every week we get into, what do? We get into a different album from a different band and we break it down, we listen to it, we try to do as much research as we can if it's not too difficult, and we just have a good time while we talk about it and get into it. If you didn't know already, my name is Tyler, and way out there, hundreds of miles away, is Jeff. Also, while you're listening, because obviously you have nothing better to do, go to Apple Podcasts, go to Spotify, give us 5 stars and 5 stars only. Don't be an asshole. And if you want to, follow us on social media, all of our handles are at Asinine Radio. We have a Discord server. If you want to join that, hang out with us and other people who listen to the pod, we'll send you the link. Just let us know. And we have a phone number. If you want to give us a call, you could shoot us a text. You can leave us a voicemail. That phone number is 503-893-5307. So get into that. Now, Jeff, what are we doing today on the podcast?
We are doing Coheed and Cambria's album, Good Apollo on Burning Star 4.
Now, Jeff, let's get into our origin story with Coheed and Cambria, and then we'll get into our stinkers if we have any, and then some bangers, and then we'll just talk about the album and story. So, what do you got for your origin story with the Coheed and Cambrias? Go.
So it started with the second album, In Keeping Secrets of Silent Earth 3, when A Favorite House of Atlantic came out. I mean, dude, everybody loved that song. It's really good. It's fantastic. And I know everybody at our high school loved that song because it, again, Coheed kind of checked the boxes for all that was popular at the time. And so that is when I got into them, but not heavily. I did listen to the second stage at that time. Don't remember anything from it. And then fast forward to Good Apollo when that one came out, and I bought that like the day it came out. Like I bought that on the CDs.
Damn.
And I fuck, man, that album is just so goddamn good. But I mean, after that, when part 2 came out, it was kind of a dud. And then I did not really listen to anything after Good Apollo part 2, aside from maybe like some of the Aftermath stuff that you liked. But other than that, I fell off with them completely. So really it was just A Favorite House of Atlantic is what got me into them. And I don't know.
That's your origins.
That's it.
Damn.
X-Men Origins.
All right, my origin is also like you. It was A Favorite House Atlantic. First thing I ever heard, it was actually the music video. I saw that for the first time on MTV or MTV2. I don't remember. And old friend of the pod, Sean, we recorded on VHS, and him and I would just watch the video. Like we had this one VHS tape of just like all of our favorite music videos, all through, our high school years. And we would just, and this is one of those videos. So we would just watch this video along with, Sum 41 Still Waiting, Green Day's Minority, just random fucking things over the years that we would just have on this VHS tape. But yeah, we watched this video and listened to the song so much. It was just, it's so ingrained in my, my late high school career, mid to late high school career. And, it's just such a cool song. It's so fucking catchy. It's by far the best part of this entire record. Like leaps and bounds. It's an awesome song. Not a great record. I mean, it's a great record, but it's a little underwhelming after you get away from this song, A Favorite House Atlantic. But yeah, that's my origin story. It was that song, that music video, and all the memories that go along with that. So going into the album of the week, my introduction to that was Welcome Home. I don't remember where I heard it. It might have been through you, actually, because at that point I had given up on Coheed. I just didn't even care. So I think you introduced me to that song, Welcome Home, and I couldn't believe just how heavy it was. The pinch harmonics, the just everything about it. It was just so crunchy and great. I love that song, and that's my introduction to the record. And yeah, I don't know what else. What do you have on this one? Or actually,
are we getting our final thoughts or what?
Yeah, let's give our final thoughts. I'm ready to wrap this up.
Rank it up, yeah, baby.
We're 7-8 minutes in.
Rank it up.
But anyway, so what are your initial thoughts on this record, Apollo 4 Volume 1, or Good Apollo? Dude, I'm so sick of this.
Just slow down.
I'm
just
so
you just
sick
slow
of
down,
this.
you'll be fine. It's not a big deal if you just slow down.
No,
you try and go too fast. You try and be like Speed
these
Racer
titles
over
are
here.
just too long. These titles are too fucking long. So what are your initial thoughts, or your initial thoughts on Good Apollo? I'm burning Star 4. See, this is just stupid.
It's really not that hard. It's not that difficult.
Good Apollo, I'm burning Star 4 Volume 1. What are your initial thoughts on it?
I gave you the backstory of why it's called Good Apollo on Burning Star 4 in hopes that you would not ever forget why it's called Good Apollo on Burning Star 4.
I know why it's called that, because of the end of the Silent Earth record, the previous record, because he's talking to the dog named Apollo, and that's the end of the record.
It's like a mic drop. He's like, "Good Apollo, I'm burning Star 4." Like, fuck this, I'm burning Star 4. Oh, it's so cool.
I know.
Get chills on my arms. Oh, it's so good.
It's a great way to end the record, but it's a terrible album title.
No, it's not. I'm burning Star 4. Star 4 is like the main. Okay. So where do you want to start? Where do you want to start?
Wherever you want to start. Wherever you want to start. I want you to do this. I want you to take the lead this week.
Okay.
I want you to take the lead.
So
you're more knowledgeable than me on this subject.
So Star 4 is the central. If you see the Coheed and Cambria, so Coheed and Cambria are two people. So no, that's a lot of stuff going into one.
There's so much to this stupid fucking story, man. It's so hard. This week has been so much more difficult than I was ever expecting, because this story is so convoluted and there's so much going on. You just don't know where to start, because you start someplace and you're like, okay, well now I have to go back and explain this part and this part and that part, and fucking annoying, man.
It's fun though.
I love this record, but fuck it, it's annoying sometimes.
But like, you got to think of this in the same kind of terms of like A New Hope, Empire, and Jedi. Like, we're thrown into the middle of a story, whether or not it was originally supposed to be. What do you call it? A trilogy, but with a nineology.
Well, I think what this ended up being was I think it's called a tetralogy. So it's 5. This one story is five albums. So a tetralogy, I think that's what it's called.
But we're thrown into the middle of it here, and we're not entirely supposed to understand everything. We're supposed to kind of go along with the flow here. When we're thrown into New Hope, we don't know who this villain is. We don't know what the Empire is. We don't know anything really. We're just thrown into it, and we're just kind of along for the ride. We're along for the journey, and that's fine. And the key work which everything revolves around is the Coheed and Cambria band, their symbol that they have, which is that triangle and the circles all around.
Yeah.
The triangle is, I think it's like 78 planets that are connected by this force field. The key work is what it is. And then there's those circles are stars, and everything is being held together in this perfect harmony. And Star 4 is the one that's in the middle of it. So if he blows up Star 4, essentially it's going to destroy the entirety of the key work. And so that's why it was so cool that fiction Claudio, because there's a real life Claudio who's a singer and songwriter for the band Coheed and Cambria, and then there's fictional Claudio, who is the son of Coheed and Cambria. So that's fun.
So annoying.
But yeah, that's why it's so cool that like fiction Claudio decides that to essentially become like the one, to become the main person, the savior,
the master villain.
Maybe. maybe.
Eh.
His thing is not to help people or try and solve world peace or anything. He's just like, fuck it, I'm just gonna, because he's so mad at the time. He comes to the conclusion that he's going to destroy everything that this universe is. He's going to destroy it, and that's cool. I like that. So let's fast forward here to Burning Star Apollo 5. I really consider the first 4 tracks one song. I don't even care. I always have. I always will. Decaf.
That's fine.
I listen to them all as my 1B. They are, because they are one song for me. And I don't care. That's what I do. What I do. Here we go.
Oh, so why do you say that though? I mean, what's the reasoning behind that?
Because
like story-wise or musically?
Both. Musically, I mean, Keeping the Blade and Always and Never follow each other. That if I just played you these songs and I even said like, hey, this is the first track, like nobody would ever know that it was 2 songs, because they go so well hand in hand like that. Now, if I played you Always and Never and Welcome Home, that's the kind of the same way. Always and Never sets up that acoustic intro to Welcome Home very nicely. And then if you play Welcome Home and then going into 10-speed, those two things play out really, really well together. So, but if I put like Keeping the Blade up against Welcome Home, it wouldn't make sense. If I put Always and Never up against 10-speed, it wouldn't make sense. They have to be in this order, and it's perfect. This is a 4-banger. It's perfect. It's my 1B. All 4 of them. Don't care.
Now, I totally see where you're going from the first song, from Keeping the Blade through Welcome Home. The transition between all 3 of those songs, I think, is perfect, especially going from Always and Never into Welcome Home. I think that's just perfect. I don't really remember the transition from Welcome Home to 10-speed. I mean, I'll take your word for it. I just don't remember it being that significant. Or that
it really ends important on like the harms, right? Like the orchestral and the hi-hat comes.
Okay, I guess, yeah.
Like it flows very nicely, and it needs to happen.
Yeah. I mean, 10-speed, that is quite the song too. I mean, that's just a very upbeat song. It's a really, really good song. A super upbeat song, where like the guitar leads match so well with his voice too. Like they just go hand in hand, and they just kind of intertwine with one another. It's just a perfectly balanced song, and the chorus is catchy. It's bouncy. Just everything rides along so well in the song, and I don't know. It never really lets up either. 10-speed never really lets up.
It was interesting when you said earlier that you heard some Mars Volta stuffs in some of the Coheed songs, because I mean, they're coming out in the early 2000s. Like we're listening to post-hardcore at the time. It's a big thing still.
It's bound to happen.
And there's some things in this song, in that guitar riffage, that is very At the Drive-In sounding, and I think that's kind of cool.
Because there's a lot of on this record, well, a lot of the records, but especially this one, I noticed there's a lot of noodling guitar leads. So you hear a lot of that in Circus Survive, especially on Juturna. But also Omar from the Mars Volta and At the Drive-In, he does that so much in both of those bands. Especially, okay, so like in At the Drive-In on Relationship of Command and Inter Alia, those 2 records, just the way that either Omar and Jim Ward play off of each other, where Jim plays the more, I guess, rhythm part, the lower end of the guitar, and Omar just is kind of noodling, just kind of going all over the place, but it's still just, it intertwines so perfectly. And the same with Inter Alia. It's Omar and Keeley. It's the same dynamic, and it's just so well done. And that's just what Coheed is. I don't think it's as good as At the Drive-In. I don't care what you think. I don't think it's as good at that, but it's the same idea, much like Juturna from Circus Survive is similar to this record, and how the guitars play against each other, or play with each other, kind of against each other.
I don't think it's as good either. It just they play different roles. They're trying to do 2 different things, and I mean, one is defining a genre at the Drive-In, and Coheed is essentially trying to be. This is kind of like theater kid music without actually being theater kid music. Like this is very.
This is like intelligent theater kid music.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Maybe not intelligent might be a bad word to use, but it's just.
No,
it's very ambitious. It's
definitely
way more ambitious
than My Chemical Romance shit, trash.
Yeah, My Chemical Romance is it's such face value, just kind of superficial. But Coheed, I mean, musically, some of it is more complex, but lyrically and story wise, it's just it's too much sometimes.
Okay, so I guess we can just start with Welcome Home, or we can just finish 10 Speed real quick. Is 10 Speed a banger for you?
Yeah. Let's finish 10 Speed. 10 Speed is my, I guess it's my 5. Yeah, it's my 5B. It's a B for me. Where does this sit for you?
It's my 1B because that's part of the 4-part suite of the opening.
Oh,
tracks.
That's true. Okay, that's true. That's true.
I don't care.
Because okay, we'll get into it later. Okay, that's fine. So this is kind of your 1B. Should we play a little bit of 10 Speed, or what do you have on this one? Musically, lyrically?
We just talked about most of it musically.
Well, I did, but you didn't.
Lyrically, I started it.
Okay.
Fucking guy. Fucking gay. Do you what do you I mean, we could do the lyrics on this one. I mean, we could tell just the overall story real quick and then incorporate our B's into it.
Let's touch on the overarching story, because I don't know, man. It was just a lot. It was a lot for me. A lot of characters, and I don't know. What do you got lyrically on this one, or overall?
Well, I guess overall the story here, we real condensed here. We are introduced to a new character called Ryder, Ryder. He is the writer, Writer, of this universe. Now we're breaking this fourth wall thing here. So we've been going through the Amory Wars of Second Stage Turbine, and then Keeping Secret Silence. That's a System of a Down. Keeping Secret Silence and Sleep. So we've been talking about this Amory Wars story for 2 albums, and now we have a different person coming in who was the writer of these stories. And like I said, we're breaking the fourth wall here, and Ryder as a person in the real world is broken up because his girlfriend Erica Court cheated on him and broke his heart and fucked him over horribly, and he's terrible about it, and he does not like it, and he's sad. Mm-hmm. So he's writing the story in the Amory Wars. Jesus
Wars.
Fucking Christ. Amory
That's
Wars.
That's a tough one.
Amory Wars.
Amory Wars.
Amory. That's a stupid name anyway. Amory. Why
There's a lot of dumb names.
There's a lot of alliteration there. I don't want to do that. It's fine. Yeah, so he's writing this as like an outlet, right? Like he's feeling sad, so he's writing these characters as extensions of himself. But then it gets really weird because the character fiction Claudio and fact writer meet up and go over plot lines and stuff. And so it becomes it becomes this fun thing that got really kind of meta and weird, and then went back to this fun thing. And it was weird. It was hard to follow. I didn't understand it.
It was very hard to follow.
The big thing with me for the story was, it's why did you just set up this entire universe just to throw it away by saying, oh, this is actually just part of a snow globe of this person's life, and whatever he writes becomes fact. That's you wasted all of that time. Yeah.
So when I was reading about this, the whole writer, Ryder, and then the writer, that complete, I was just what the fuck is going on? Is there something I'm missing here? So I was going back and reading from the previous album, from Keeping Secrets, and I was just what the fuck does this mean? And I was trying to research it more, and then I finally realized, okay, this is the same person. This is really fucking annoying. And then as I was going through the songs, I think, okay, so what Claudio has said, real life Claudio, what he said about this record is that it's a very depressing record. There's a lot of heartbreak. When you really when you really read into it, it's about personal heartbreak, this and that. But I think it's about something more than that. I think it's about drug use. And I always go back to drug use because a lot of musicians use drugs, and they use that in their songwriting. And I'm going to use that here. I don't know if it's psychedelics. I don't know what it is, but I feel like the relationship between the writer and Ryder and the two Claudios, I feel like a lot of that is due to extreme heartbreak, extreme depression, and him you resorting to whatever kind of drug it is and having hallucinations with the 10-speed bike, because that entire storyline, having the 10-speed bike be, or 10-speed be this like villain, and then him questioning, are you really a villain, or are you just my bike? It's just a very kind of dreamlike, getting really fucked up and high kind of state of being. So I feel like that's what it is. I feel like real life Claudio was so depressed, getting fucked up on drugs, and this is him writing about that experience, but trying to associate it with the overall story arc of this entire universe that he's created in these comics and novels.
I mean, you're essentially right about everything. I don't think drugs played a factor in it. I mean, if you read anything about Claudio and his wife,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to say he like says a lot of negative things about her, but he kind of does say like a lot of negative things about their relationship. But I think it's him just focusing on the negative so he can write better music. But they've been together for over 10 years. So like, it's clearly not bad. And this was a time when they're getting popular, they're getting big, they're touring a lot, they're making money now. He's not home all the time. And that's always a big strain on any relationship is when these bands kind of like start making a lot of money, some decent big label money. And so this is an album that was kind of like necessary because he needed an outlet. And he's writing this story, he's writing this world, but he just feels disconnected from it anyway. And rather than start from scratch and scrap the whole thing, he finds a way to incorporate it into like his current mental state, his current emotional state, which is kind of cool because it means it shows that he doesn't have, point A to point B, and it has to be that way. It's okay to like go off on these little tangents and rewrite things based off of how I feel at the moment, because then he did end up finishing the story in a different way in like 2017 or whatever it was when they re-released some of the comics to extrapolate on this story. So I like that. That's cool.
I feel like also when you read his lyrics, I mean, some of his lyrics I can't figure out. I like we've always talked about on the pod, we're not lyric men. That's not really our thing. It hasn't been until recently. So some of the lyrics on this record, I just don't get from like a personal standpoint. Even like what people have said, how it relates to the actual overall story arc, I still don't really see it at some points. I don't know. I think relating the lyrics on this record to the overall story just is a stretch. It's a total fucking stretch to me. I really think it is.
I agree. I think if you knew nothing about the story, if you knew nothing about this band, if I just gave you, I just wrote track 1, track 2, and then gave you the lyrics per, and I asked you what you think the story's about, fuck no way in hell would you ever get this story from the lyrics he wrote. No way.
It's like he wrote the story, the fictional story, after the fact. Like he connected the fictional stuff with what happened in real life way after the fact. Like he did though, right? Isn't that what you just said? He did it way after.
Well,
so
yeah,
well, not way after. Yeah, not way after. Well, still after.
I think he's made more of it, like, because this one ends pretty like ambiguously, supposedly. Yeah. I just think he's a great songwriter. I think he's a great what do you call like a lyricist? But like you write comics, like words. What do you call it? Like a writer?
Word vomit?
Well, I'd just say writer, a
poet?
comic book writer,
or
no, because I think he's a terrible lyricist when it comes to music. I think he's a fucking awful lyricist. I don't think he's a great poet at all. But I think he writes good stories. And he has great concepts, and he writes fantastic music. And
great stories outside of the actual songs themselves.
Yes, I just don't think I don't think he can take those great stories and put them into song format. I just don't think he's good at doing that. But everything else I think he's great at.
I think the perspective of because what I get from this entire record is a lot of betrayal between either it be himself or the significant other. The betrayal, how he feels like to the point where he wants to kill the person, he wants to see them rot in hell at certain points. There's a lot of references to hell and wanting to just destroy everything because of that betrayal of just being so angry that you just want to strangle them. There's a lot of pretty pretty violent things on this record that I had no idea was a thing, that I didn't even think he would write about. But yeah, it was eye opening. It was definitely eye opening. But like I said, when it relates to the actual fiction, the fictional part of the story, I don't see it really at all. So that's kind of annoying. I feel like, oh God, it makes me kind of annoyed with the fans of the band because they make these connections, but I feel like they only make the connections because they've read the stories already. Then they just make these they fill in the gaps, and it just doesn't. I don't know. I don't like it.
And that's true, because if you don't know the story, you're going to be lost. You're not going to be able to pick it up here. But I think that's kind of cool, because that's rewarding like their fans. I think Coheed's always been about the fans, really about the lore, because they do it still just this year. They've been doing this since day one, and they're still doing it. So it's they're rewarding their fans, and it's not just albums. It's comics, it's books, it's everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, that's cool. And they're kind of like a band that's just like, fuck off. You don't like us, then don't follow us. I don't really care. We have they have a crazy devoted fan base.
Yeah, devoted fan base. Yeah, they totally do.
And they play music for them. I like that.
I do too. I did kind of realize as I was going through the lyrics, like the first 3-4 songs, I was reading the story before I read the actual lyrics, so it influenced the way I was reading the lyrics. But then after that, I thought, okay, let's read the lyrics first, make my own interpretation, and then read the fictional connection. And then after I started doing that, I had a completely different perception of what I felt like he was actually singing about.
Dude, if you read 10 Speed before you realized it was a bicycle being possessed by this fucking devil thing, no fucking way. No way would you ever
there's no way
pick
you
that
make
up.
the connection. Yeah, it's crazy stuff. Should we play a little bit of 10 Speed? And then we'll get back into Welcome Home?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Play it.
So here it is, 10 Speed of God's Blood and Burial from Coheed and Cambria. Damn it, I fucked that up. Well, anyway, there's 10 Speed of God's Blood and Burial. So I usually fade out, but I accidentally clicked another song.
Good fade.
Yeah. Terrible.
Yeah, this one's about Ryder's bicycle becoming possessed by 10 Speed, this dark embodiment of Ryder's dark side. He's broken up about this girl Erica Court cheating on him, and he's upset. And instead of dealing with it, I guess in conventional ways, he's writing about it. And the part of him that he can't come to terms with is why she cheated on him. And she even said it was like kind of his fault that she did it. And so like 10 Speed is this dark side of Ryder that he's not able to confront, like I said, in conventional ways. So it's his fucking demon. And the demon tells him that he has to go into the fictional world and kill this character, Ambelina, who's a prize, but cut off her wings because she's kind of in love with Claudio, fictional Claudio. And he needs to go kill Ambelina because Ambelina is essentially one half of how he wrote fictional women of his real girlfriend Erica. He wrote her Ambelina and then Nuo.
I'd say Nuo. I would just
Nuo.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, so in order for Ryder to be free of the hurt, this demonic bicycle tells him to go kill this fictional girl. That's so weird.
It's like some acid trip kind of thing, you know?
Yeah, it's just like what else can we do? So that's cool. That's fun.
Yeah. It's a really cool song. So let's go back to Welcome Home.
Yeah, didn't even finish Welcome Home.
Yeah, we didn't even touch upon it. Or we just played it, but that was it. So, like we said, this was our introduction to this record. This was a fucking great song. That acoustic guitar, like you said, it's so crisp. It's such a crisp tone, right? And it's a fucking good song. What do you got on this one musically?
I mean, just like, fuck me if the first minute and a half of this song isn't just absolutely historic. Not great, not like historic. It is historic. And honestly, the drums overall on this album are kind of they're kind of Meg White They're kind of just like, we need something to kind of keep the pacing. There's a couple parts where they shine a little bit, but overall it's just Meg White status. The bass playing too, kind of just Meg White bass playing, whatever. Sometimes he has a little flair to it, but damn, man,
Meg White bass playing.
That drum part is just so it's so good. It's
that
so
first
easy.
tom hit, those tom hits,
and you hear him like kind of like bellow out. It's so easy to play. It's so easy to follow, and I love how simple it is, and just how aggressively complex the guitar parts are.
I know, right?
Why?
And
like you overdo it, and it comes out perfectly.
It is so over the top metal, but it's so concise. Like it's over the top, but it's still classy. Like it really rides that line of being annoying and being super, super fucking cool. Because like Zakk Wylde, the arguably like the king of the pinch harmonics, can be so fucking annoying. But here it's just perfectly placed and not overdone. I love it. And the heavy chugging, oh my gosh, the guitar tone overall, not just the acoustic crispness, but just the fuzzy crunch of those electric guitars is just solid stuff. And the big, heavy, bombastic drums. It's almost like John Bonham style tone with those drums. I mean, obviously not as great and just groove bass as Led Zeppelin or John Bonham, but tonally it has that Bonham style to it.
Yeah, they're definitely going for a loud sound.
Yeah. And they do it super well.
They do it super well. And it's kind of cool because that riff, that verse riffage reminds me of like Kashmir, which is, I mean, it's
really does, yeah.
Right? That
it's the same like strumming pattern, right?
Pretty much. It's the same. It's in the same ballpark, and it's not crazy to think about because they're massive Zeppelin fans. Claudio has said that he's highly influenced by Jimmy Page and Robert Plant, songwriting wise. And like, who isn't really inspired by Zeppelin at this point?
True.
But then on the same album, we'll hear like another Zeppelin part later on to end the album itself. So
bonus track. It's
kind of cool that mimics or like pays homage to Zeppelin, and I like that. And I like hearing the lead guitar hit those aggressive, loud, like distorted single notes as the rhythm lays down like the main riffage, because you can hear like the din and then the lead guitar is like. Oh,
dude, it's so good.
And it's so dark. It's so
I don't want to say
Hot Topic. That's what it is. It's so Hot Topic. I love it.
I kind of want to say it's Sabbath-esque, but it's not. I can't put my finger on. I know what you're talking about, but I can't put my finger on what it's similar to. But I want to say Sabbath. But whatever. Yeah, this is a great song. And it's just it not only is it heavy, but it is very, very catchy too. Very, very catchy. And it just leads you on this trip, this kind of ride through the entirety of it. And then the woes at the very end too. I mean, that could be very, very cheesy. I mean, look at Blink-182's 9 record. That every song has a woe on it. But this is just like perfectly placed, perfectly timed, perfect amount of times they say the woes, and it just kind of like fades out and then leads into 10 speed, and it's good stuff, man. It's really, really good.
I like I love the buildup leading directly into the solo. Like it drops just insanely hard after it's already been built up already. And like the solo, dude, like the solo has so many parts to it. It's got dueling guitar, it's got melodies, it's got shredding, it's got slow stuff. It's a fucking perfect solo. It is a perfect solo.
They're really good at soloing too. It's surprising that they never really go back to it. They don't solo that often. There's a lot of lead guitar lines, but nothing like a solo. They maybe do it like once or twice a record.
Yeah.
But they're really good at it.
They are really good. When they want to be, because like this solo, they're writing a song. Like the solo is kind of its own little song. It's its own little part to this overall song. It has some solid melody to it, but it also shreds. Like it does the job of a solo, but then also kind of does the job of like a bridge or an interlude. It does a little bit of everything, and it's really, really good. Love it.
I do too. I mean, I think this is an absolutely perfect song. This is the best song they've ever put out. This and Favorite House Atlantic the best songs they've ever put out, hands down. Can't fuck with them. I don't care if they're singles; they're the best songs.
Welcome Home is it's. I mean, this is so far beyond banger status.
I know.
Yeah.
It's fucking remarkable.
It is. I mean, yeah, I for sure think Welcome Home is the best thing they've ever put out. Like, if you took Welcome Home out of Coheed and Cambria's life, then I'd probably never go back to this band, to be honest. Like, we would not be doing this pod, that's for sure. But
or this episode. We'd be doing the pod, but not this episode.
Yeah, that's what I meant to say. But if you took Coheed and Cambria out entirely, everything they've done, everything except for just one song, Welcome Home, I'd be all for it.
Can you imagine an entire heavy album like this? I mean, it could be arguably like one of the coolest metal records of all time.
Yes.
Had they done an entire record like this. And it's kind of surprising that they've never done anything like that. Like, they seem like a band who would make like one super, super heavy metal record, one album that's very kind of acoustic based, one very pop rock record, but they've never done that. It's always been just kind of middle of the road. Let's throw in a little things here and there, but it's always very, very middle of the road. I don't understand it. I really don't.
It is weird. And like, shortly after this came out, like that's when Thrice did the Alchemy Index, right? That was like a couple years after this. So it's weird that they wouldn't be inspired, because they're inspired by the genres, right? By the post-hardcore, punk, pop punk, emo genres. So it's weird that they wouldn't do that. They wouldn't do some type of even like a triple album of 3 different genres and really, really hammer them home.
Or even like
they
Visu.
love doing double stuffs.
Visu came out like a year after this, and then Alchemy Index came out a year after that, or 2 years after that. So it's like there was a lot of cool experimental things that Thrice were doing at the time that, yeah, like you said, I'm surprised Coheed didn't really kind of jump onto that, because they had obviously done that before with the first record with Second Turbine, whatever the fucking record's called.
Second Stage Turbine Blade.
Second Stage Turbine. I mean, that was like I said on the rankings episode, that is like a Thrice's identity crisis. It's a combination of all these random genres into one record done really, really well. And they kind of always, I feel like they always kind of followed what Thrice was doing as well, but not as good as Thrice. That's just how I feel about it. Thrice were just a better band. Songwriting wise, musically, I felt like they were better. Maybe not story wise, but that's outside of the music and band itself, but whatever.
I mean, they're in the same ballpark of music, but I think they're setting out to do different things.
Yeah,
and I think because Coheed is so staunch on keeping with like the kayfabe, as the wrestlers say, I think it hurts their songwriting.
What does kayfabe mean? I don't know what that means. I don't get the reference.
Oh, if you're like Stone Cold Steve Austin needs to be Stone Cold Steve Austin, even if he's in the fucking grocery store. You can't break character. Okay. So Stone Cold and The Rock are having a spat, and any event that they're together with, they need to continue that spat.
Do you remember I think we even talked about it a few years ago in our group chat when Booker T was in the grocery store and then Stone Cold showed up.
That is the best. That is the best.
Beat the shit out of Booker T.
Oh, it's so good. Pours milk on him. He breaks eggs on him, and
it was so funny.
That's fantastic.
God, that was so funny.
So good. One
of the best wrestling things I've ever seen.
Man, wrestling used to be wrestling was top notch. Wrestling was top notch.
Oh, I wish I was more into wrestling back in the 90s, early 2000s. I really wish I was.
That is the era too. That is the Attitude Era. That is what made wrestling historic.
Yeah. I know. I'm slowly making my way through the beginning of the WWF up until that era of wrestling that we were just talking about.
So good.
But anyway, back to Coheed and Cambria. Are we good with Welcome Home?
Yeah.
Okay. So what's your 2B then? All right. Well, yeah, what's your 2B, since we talked about essentially the first 4 songs already?
We haven't talked about Keeping the Blade, and we haven't talked about Always and Never. What are you talking about?
Okay, let's get into that then.
We haven't done anything about him. We've said less things than normal, actually.
What do you got then?
So Keeping the Blade, this is the instrumental track. This opens it up. This tune is a recurring theme in their albums. We've heard this before, right?
Yeah.
Do you remember or you don't remember?
I don't remember. I'm just
Fucking
agreeing with you.
God, come on, you son of a bitch.
Dude, the intros, dude, it's like 2-minute intros every album. Like, I'm just gonna skip this shit.
But it's the tune. It's the tune. This tune
Okay.
we have heard probably at least 3 times in their first 2 albums, and it's supposed to like fans say that it represents like the passing of time, and it would make more sense if you remembered that it was there. Even the name, Keeping the Blade, right? It's it's an amalgamation of their first 2 albums, and Keeping Secrets and then Second Stage Turbine Blade. So it's taking 2 things, but we've heard this before, and that's fine. But this is the first time we've heard it. We've heard this tune as an actual song that builds around the theme. Like usually it's sort of like a placeholder, but this time it's an actual song, and it's fucking badass. It is so goddamn good. I love this. I can listen to just this song alone, and then just go on to like Blink or go on to anything else, and be satisfied, because I love how the song just builds. I love how the song builds. I love how it builds to the orchestral parts. I like the highs and the lows. They're all just like surreal. They're all perfect. You can hear some of the lower strings kind of like octave jump. They'll scale up, but instead of hitting that higher E, they'll drop down to the lower E. And so you can hear these kind of like subtleties in the music. And that just comes from like superb songwriting. That's just better songwriting.
Yeah, I don't have much to say about this first track. I think there was just a lot of burnout this week for me with Coheed, and I just kind of forgot about. I don't know. This one just did not stand out to me at all. But I understand what you're saying.
Oh my God! And then there's this part that, so the piano's playing, and then right before the string part really comes in, the piano hits his chord. It's like dum. And the string goes, so right before that like string part, that piano chord, man, that fucking chord hits so hard. It hits so heavy. It rings out just long enough. It rings out slow enough. It's deep. It's rich. That is a good piano chord right there. That is like my second favorite piano chord, my second favorite piano part, I guess, in a musical piece, like a pop piece, I guess. After Weezer's Only in Dreams ending.
Oh my God.
Love it.
Of course.
Love it.
You always got to bring up that song. The ending of
so
that
good.
song.
So fucking good. I love when artists write just already a perfect song and then go back to that perfect song and just think like, how can we make this better without making it worse? Because if you go into it thinking, how can I make this better? You can always make it better, but you're probably going to make parts of it worse. But if you think, how can I make it better without making it worse, then you're really, really particular about what you're doing to the song.
True.
I like it. I like it a lot. So yeah, that's Keeping the Blade. That's also my 1B.
All right. Of course it is. Okay. Because it's one whole song.
Mm-hmm. It's sweet.
So, Always and Never.
Always and Never.
Yeah, this is an acoustic song. Just guitar and vocals. Of course you like this shit.
You like it too, right? I mean,
I think it's fantastic. No, this is a fucking great song.
Is this a B for you?
It is not, but I still think it's a great song.
Fuck, are you fucking insane?
Because
how is this not a B
because
for you?
I don't think it's like it's not a full song. Like this is a transition song, and I get it. I totally get it. Always and Never and Keeping the Blade could be one song. Easily just be one song. So this is, to me, is like a filler song. I think it's also because I know what I'm getting myself into with Welcome Home. Like, so I'm just excited. I'm excited for that build up. I'm excited for that hype, because that's what this song is. It's fucking build up into Welcome Home, into that acoustic riff at the beginning of Welcome Home, into that big heavy guitars and everything.
Oh,
so I don't really,
it's not a banger for you.
I don't really think of this song as a single song. It's great. It's fantastic. There's some great falsetto stuff that he doesn't do very often. He really, really doesn't. But he fucking kills it in this. So it's good.
All right.
And then, well, I mean, the only thing that's a little bit weird is the kids' voices and everything. The kids talking in the background.
That's great.
I don't know. It's fine. That part's fine.
I love that.
But
I love that because the children playing in the background give the song that sort of. It's an uneasy innocence. Whenever you hear kids laughing and playing, you automatically kind of let your guard down a little bit. But we know this world building is not innocent. It's a beautiful contrast, is what it is.
Yeah.
And that's like
yeah.
that's cool songwriting. That's how can I make this song better without making it worse. And I think it's perfect. I love this. I love this. I love this song. It never gets old. Never gets too crazy either. Small soundscapes work because they're not overdone. They're not drowning out the music, and they're not taking away from anything. All they are doing is supplemental stuffs.
True. True. It's. I mean, don't get me wrong. This is not a bad song by any means. It's just. It's a build up. It's just a good. Combined with the first song, like I said, it's like a good 4 or 5 minute build up into Welcome Home.
Okay, well that's actually incorrect. So.
All right. So what do you have lyrically on this one?
This was like the first time we're introduced to the writer. Claudio from Our World is essentially the writer of Coheed's music and lyrics, but also the story and writer, who is the writer of the fictional universe. Stupid, dumb. But it's a cool way to expand on the multiverse thing that they got going on. Again, I like it. I like that he's calling an audible, right? He's like, maybe he had a story planned out. Maybe he's like George Lucas and pretended that he had a story planned out. And then halfway through, he's like, I'm feeling different. I want to change everything, and then change everything. But in this song, we have fictional Claudio connecting to real world Ryder, and they're connected mentally and sort of physically, since the pain Ryder feels, Claudio also feels. But like this is like the intro. This is both of the worlds coming together in a way that both of them don't quite understand what is happening, but they kind of also understand what is happening.
Like taking it out of the fictional side of it all. I just think this one is about waiting for his lost love and missing everything about her, feeling like he can never sleep or be happy again until she's with him. That's what I feel from a personal level. That's what I feel that this song is about.
That's crazy. I don't know if I would be able to pull anything from his lyrics if I didn't know the story. I don't think I could.
So what after like the first few songs, after I realized, okay, let me read the lyrics separately, and then I'll go back and then read the story. That's what I did. Like I did that, and then I read the story afterwards. So for almost all my songs, I have like what it means, what I think it means, and then what the story says it means, and they're just completely fucking different. Everyone's fucking different, and I feel like every other song is about like one song will be about Claudio, or just this person, just being in love, feeling betrayed, this and that, and then the next song will be about the other person's perspective, the girlfriend's perspective, saying that he's the manipulator, he's the shitty one, he's the one who doesn't understand, and that's why I'm leaving. And then the next song will be about Claudio's perspective of being like, I don't understand why she's leaving me. I want to kill her. I'm pissed off. And then it just, throughout the album, it just kind of escalates until the very end, where it just gets pretty violent at certain points. So that's kind of how I feel. And then I go back and read, what the story says it's about. And it's like, dude, you can't fucking make any of these connections at all. Like, it actually made it a little bit less fun and interesting after I read what the story was about. I mean, the story by itself is cool, but relating it to this record, I think is just silly. I don't care for that.
I think if you just take his actual lyrics as just placeholders for noises, then I think it would make more sense. Like if he was just singing la-di-das the whole time, and then you had to read about what the song is about story-wise, I think that would be a little bit more beneficial. Because,
I agree.
Because for sure, dude, like this guy is just not a good lyricist. He's just not.
I wouldn't say that he's a bad lyricist. It's just
he is, because he's
trying
not good
to connect the story with the lyrics doesn't make any fucking sense. I don't think his lyrics are necessarily
that's why he's bad. They are bad because they're not doing what he wants them to do.
Okay. You're right in that sense. You are right in that sense.
He wants to tell his story, and he's a good storyteller because him and his wife write fucking pretty cool ass comics. But his lyrics are trash.
Only in connection with the stories. That's it.
Yeah.
All right. So let's are we good with Always and Never?
Yeah. No, we're good with my 1B, 1, 2, 3, 4.
With your 1B. Okay. So should we move on to your 2B?
Yeah, 2B.
What do you got?
Wake up, dude. Wake up, dude.
So that's not a banger for me.
I know, because you're fucking boring.
It's a fucking slow ass ballad.
Dude, love it. It's so good.
Ugh.
So
I even put
good.
here. I only listen to the song in the context of of this album.
Dude,
I would never listen to
like
this by itself.
this is like pop punk goes acoustic. Is what's happening here, and
Tammy
it's
loves
cool
this song too. Tammy loves this song.
because it's so fucking good. I love how busy the guitar is constantly. It's just constantly busy, but doesn't really venture off from like the picking. Like rarely he's hitting chords, but it's never too busy. Again, it's never busy enough to be like irritating, but he's always doing something, and that's what like drives a good acoustic song forward, rather than kind of just stalling in the water. Is either a really solid melody like Dashboard's throwing out, or some really cool like fucking picking. Like that's why a lot of cool like unplugged stuff is good because of guitar work. And this is it. This is fantastic acoustic guitar work. And same with like, the drums and percussion. Like this stuff like drives a song forward, but they don't take over. They are comfortable. They are happy sitting in their lane in the backseat.
I just don't feel like his vocals fit well with these kind of ballads. Like the ballad itself, musically, is not bad at all. It's his vocals with like the lot of O sounds, the round sounding words that he does. The ow, like he sounds like a dog or a wolf or something like that. Like just the way he sings, it just sounds funky in an acoustic ballad like this. And it's so distracting.
He tries really hard to be kind of unique, and the way he sings is very unique. There's not a lot of people that sing like him, and so when you have something that's like Welcome Home, and like Favorite House of Atlantic, which another reason why that blew up was because like you said the video and his hair, right? That was like what the fuck? Like that's the guy that's singing this? What? That
the snake bites on his lips. Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about the fucking piercings that he had.
Piercings, the snake bites, yeah.
That's actually one of the reasons why I wanted to get like lip piercings when I worked at Virgin Records was because.
Oh, dude, I always wanted snake bites. Yeah, I always wanted them. And then I don't know if you remember Tammy when I met Tammy, she had snake bites for like years after we even met. Oh yeah, she had snake bites. I mean, her whole face was not tattooed, was pierced. Tammy's had so many piercings over the years, but yeah, when I met her, she had the snake bites.
Huh, I do not remember that. I
think she didn't take them out till like maybe 2010, so like 4 or 5 years into our relationship. Yeah, she finally was like, I'm over it. I'm gonna take them out. She finally did, but she still has scars. Like she still has the scars on her lips.
I was gonna say I love talking to people about music sometimes because I inevitably will just stare at like their face. And if I see little holes where their piercings used to be, I have to bring up. I said, "How cool did you think you were when you got those lip piercings?"
But the snake bites were cool. They were cool.
I still think they're cool, but
yeah, I do too. I mean,
it's super goofy now that you have little holes in your face.
If Tammy brought back her snake bites, I'd be totally cool with it. Totally fucking cool with it.
I'd still. I don't know if I get a piercing. Actually, I wouldn't do it. No.
Yeah, I don't care to get pierced, but. Fucking Tammy, man, she's gotten so many parts of her body pierced. It's insane.
Not that like because all my tattoos are super stupid, but
yeah,
like the thought of getting my lip pierced, like I would only do it just so I could constantly laugh at myself. Like there's just no other reason for it. It's so silly.
This fucking Mike, our friend of the pod, Mike, when him and I lived together, like in 2014, 2015, in Irvine. He was going through this phase where he was just doing weird things, and he went and got a nose piercing. He got his like nostril pierced, not a septum, but his nostril. But he got the ring too small, so it just looked really his nose and head looked way bigger because of just how small the piercing was on his nose, and it looks so ridiculous. He took it out after like a week because I think it got infected or some shit like that. But yeah, oh yeah. But yeah, he's just ridiculous. Like, can you imagine Mike with a nose piercing? Yeah,
because of his long beard and how it's like tapered to be like longer than it is wider, and the way his hair is also tapered to his like buzz cuts on the side and it's poofy on top. So all these things make his head look more elongated than it should be. No, I cannot imagine him doing more so. Like, remember we thought his ears were really, really small, but he doesn't have small ears that are proportioned to his head. It's just because it's the way his hair.
His hair, yeah. his I mean, not anymore because his facial hair and the top of his head isn't the same anymore. But at the time, it was like an hourglass shape because he had the long beard. But yeah, it would go out on the sides and then flatten out at the bottom, and then his hair would be like, you know, the fade on the side, and then it would be like this poof of hair, and then it'd be flat on top. So it was like a almost like a perfect hourglass of a face. Yeah, it's pretty funny stuff.
It is fucking so
Mike,
silly.
Man. That was the style, man. That was the style.
It's still kind of cool. I think piercings are good. Tattoos have kind of become like cliche and more accepted.
Yeah,
for sure than piercings. Like facial piercings are still kind of like, well, what's that fucking thing in your face, dude?
Yeah, it's still pretty edgy.
Yeah. So
the ones I never understood were the surface piercings. Like Tammy used to get the surface ones.
The surface piercings.
Like the ones on her wrist. Like stuff that doesn't go through something. Like doesn't go through your nose, your lip, your ear.
Oh,
it's something
there's
that
only
just
one hole?
Well, it's not just one hole. It goes through two holes, but it's like it's surface because like when you put it on your wrist, it goes through like there's two holes, but I don't know. It's hard to explain. Like, what am I trying to say? Like, it's mainly for like a bar. Like instead of a ring, it's a bar that goes across.
Oh, I see. Okay,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. So like on the back of, because Renee has like those on the back of her neck.
Yes, Tammy used to have that too on the back of her neck.
So you're right. There are two holes, but it's
just a bar that goes through it.
It's a barbell, and all you're seeing are the bell parts, not the bar.
Yeah. So that's a surface piercing. So Tammy had the one on her neck. She had that for like over 10 years. And then she had the one on her wrist, and it got super infected. Her whole arm swelled up and turned red. And we had to go to the urgent care and everything, and they had to like take the piercing out. Or no, they had to give her like medication to bring the swelling down, and then she had to take the piercing out. Yeah, and then she got her what is it, her hip pierced. She got that surface pierced, and that got infected within like, I think a week as well. Yeah, surface piercings always get fucking infected. It's terrible. But anyway, yeah. Why are we? Oh, we're talking piercings because of Claudio, because he had the snake bites.
Oh yeah, because of snake bites. There we go. Yeah. Okay.
Anyway,
well, that's fine.
Back to Coheed and Cambria.
No, that Wake Up was my TB, but you hate it, so we can move on. That's fine.
No, we can play it. I don't mind.
We haven't even got to like, how many Bs do you have? Do you have any stinkers?
No, I have no stinkers. There's only really two songs that I want to talk about, and then I'm good to go. Totally good to go. But I'm down to play Wake Up. Do you want me to play it?
No, that's fair.
Are you sure?
Yeah, because this one doesn't have like a whole lot to do with the overall story, and I just read that it was about Claudio having a fight with his girlfriend and kind of going in line with a band who was getting big and touring and not being home, and their significant others complaining about it.
Okay, I got something completely different from that. We'll move on then. We'll move on. Okay, so my Tubi is The Suffering. It's another single. I don't care.
That's not, besides just like the acoustic part. I mean, The Suffering is just as pop punky as Wake Up is.
When it hits into that second chorus and everything opens up, and it's just like this big, and not heavy, just big sounding song, and it's just so fucking catchy. Oh my god, dude. The Suffering has the perfect balance of the palm muted guitars, the kind of swingy, kind of a little bit of math rock kind of drumming and style, all meshed into like a 3.5 minute jam. It's so perfect. Like, they do this kind of shit absolutely perfectly. If they did an entire record of 3.5, 4 minute songs in this kind of vein, not to say every song needs to sound like this, but in this vein of styling, dude, it could just be this, and then they put out like a big heavy metal record like Welcome Home in the style of Welcome Home. Dude, they'd be like on top of the fucking world. They seriously would. And they could still bring that, they could still like lyrically, story-wise, bring that into the entire universe of the key work. Was that what it's called? Key work, right?
Yeah, the Amory Wars.
The Amory, with all of that, yeah. But yeah, no, I like The Suffering. I love The Suffering. What does this sit for you, B-wise?
It's my 3B. I love The Suffering.
Why are you acting like you hated it?
Because you act like you hate fucking Wake Up, but like Wake Up.
No,
if you
Wake
just
Up
put
is so
music
different.
behind it. It's a suffering.
No, it's way different.
The only difference is Wake Up's acoustic. That's it. It's the same song. Like literally, it's the same song.
It's not the same song.
If you isolate the vocals, they're the same song. I did it today.
Oh shit! So should we play this song? What do you got musically on this? Lyrics? What do you what do you think we should do?
I don't know. I love the guitar tone in this one. I think it sounds just fucking really cool. I love the riffage. I love the like when he's note matching vocally with the riffage, like that gives me chills. It really does.
Yeah,
And this one's pretty prog rock, right? They are essentially kind of like a prog band at heart, but they do things to make you believe that they are not. But I think they are a prog band at heart. They have tendencies that, I mean, there's a lot of Yes in this album also. There's a lot of really cool prog stuff. And it shows from like their stories, their story writings where it's kind of like all over the place. This is a prog band at heart. And this riffage, like, it doesn't just come from the guitar, but also the bass and drums. They're also doing some other weird stuff together apart from the guitar riffs, but it's all still blending together. So they like in good prog music, right? Where you start at one point, you diverge, you each do your own thing, and you come back to meet at the end. But in the middle part, you're each doing something totally different. So if you isolated the tracks, they're two completely different songs, but play them together and it's like, okay, it's kind of fucking cool. That's kind of the same thing here. I see what you're doing. I like it.
True.
And the verses here, man, the verses are so catchy. The verses are so catchy in the song that when the chorus finally hits, it's even more mind-blowing because I love these verses. I love them so much. They're
really
so good.
And then just also like the background vocal haze, you know, the hey.
If it was up to me.
Just the intertwining of the Claudio's vocals with the background vocals and just the chord progressions, the high chord kind of progressions that kind of go on throughout the song, the lead guitar parts, absolutely killer. And I totally agree with you. The guitar tone on this song is killer. It's really, really killer. Do you want to get lyrically into this or do you want to play it? What do you want to do?
I wrote, and I was reading, because I'm not reading the lyrics here, I'm reading the story and then reading the lyrics. This was writer essentially making up his mind, or most of his mind, to enter the story, his story, right? And kill Ambelina to quell his suffering. But like any good story, there's always that piece of writer, the person, that just kind of wants to propose to Erica and shoot his last shot and just see if he can give it one more go before he expels her from his life entirely.
I read it. The little bit I read about the story itself, I kind of got that too. But I like my interpretation better because I'm a better, I don't know. I'm an
interpretation man?
A better interpretation man, yes. It's quite the word. Quite the word. So the way this song is structured to me is that it's two people talking to each other, the back and forth of that. One person is talking about how they want to stay in a relationship. The other one wants to leave it because, you know, they hate the other person. And they're just, the song is about fighting with one another in the context of a relationship. And I think it's perfect. It really is. Like the way Claudio plays off of not only himself at times, but also the way he plays off of the background vocals, like we already talked about, is perfect lyrically. I think this is just a really cool structured song that has the verses and choruses, but they're not everything is identical to one another. Like there's still there's still parts in the choruses and verses that are a little bit different from one another, and I think that's really cool. And it adds so much. It adds a lot more depth to the song than you would hear in a lot of normal pop songs. I think this is a fucking amazing song. Everything about this song is fucking amazing. Lyrically, musically, vocally, everything is fucking awesome. So, taken out of the fictional story, I think this song is awesome. But anyway, should we play a little bit of the song and then move on?
Well, yeah, we've only played like one song.
Well, we played two songs, right? Yeah, we played two songs.
What other song did we play besides Welcome Home?
We played 10 Speed.
You didn't play 10 Speed?
Yeah, we did play 10 Speed. Remember I didn't fade out?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So
I told you.
Anyway, here's a little bit of the Suffering from Coheed. There you go, the Suffering from Coheed and Cambria.
It's so good.
It is really good.
What you just played was why this song is so damn good. Is because we didn't even get to like the big chorus, the big drop, right? The relief, but everything else was so worth it.
It was.
And like this song really makes you wait for that chorus, and I love it.
You know what I never really noticed until this week also is the like it's buried in the mix, but when you really listen, you can hear it is that piano part, that dun 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 dun, that very staccato kind of fast high piano part, like you hear in Sweetness from Jimmy Eat World. You know what I'm talking about?
I don't think. I mean, I know the piano and Sweetness, yeah, but I don't think I've like heard it in this one.
Yeah,
I have no notes on that.
Leading up into the choruses, if it's like I said, it's buried in the mix, but you can hear it. It's like a very filler thing, but you can hear just that high piano kind of staccato thing. It's fucking good, man. It's good stuff. But anyway, let's move on from the Suffering. What else do you have on this record?
What was the other song you wanted to talk about?
The other thing,
one more.
Well, the one more thing is 4 songs.
Oh, so you want to do the Willing Well?
The Willing Well, yeah. I mean, this is just...
You like this?
This is amazing.
Wow.
This is a fucking masterpiece.
Wow.
Everything, from the first part to the final cut, it's just... This is unreal.
Okay. Are you also including like Apollo 1, the writing writer in this, or are you just doing only the last 4 tracks?
I'm just doing the last 4 tracks.
Gotcha.
Because I mean, these last 4 songs is everything that they do well in one single song. You know, the aggressiveness, the math rock, acoustic stuff, pop melodies, everything.
No, I agree.
Soundscape, everything is just
30
perfect.
minutes of bliss.
Like I would be fine if I just had Welcome Home, Suffering, and then these 4 songs. Like I would be totally cool with it.
And that's still like an hour-long album.
I think these last 4 songs are like 7 to 7.5 minutes long each. So we got what?
30 minutes.
Oh yeah, 30 minutes of just fucking. This is like Cassandra Gemini from Mars Volta, but not as good as Cassandra, because Cassandra is
take it easy, buddy boy.
Pure masterpiece.
Right. Relax.
But you know what I mean. It's just because you would agree, Cassandra is a better song.
I don't like doing that, because then if I said that's a great song, then you're like, oh, see, this is better than Coheed. I'm not gonna do that.
Exactly.
I'm not gonna do that.
That's why I do it. I'm trying to, You
can't get me. I don't get got.
No,
doesn't happen.
I'm trying to make you admit and realize that Mars Volta are one of the greatest bands of all time. But the Willing Well. I don't even know if I can tackle this. I mean, I have so many notes here.
Do you know what the Willing Well is?
I don't know, because I was just so excited by the song musically. I just don't even give a fuck about the lyrics. Like I have my own.
The lore is cool.
I have my own interpretation of all 4 parts.
Do you want me to give you lore, or do you want to
give me lore? Give me lore
entirely?
Because I honestly,
you kind of like complain about the lore, and I want to give it to you.
Because
if you don't care about it, why would I give it to you?
I want you to give me the lore, because I did not care about the lore when I was reading about this song. I cared about my interpretation, because that's all that matters in the end, and the music itself. So
if you don't care about the lore does not care about you.
Like I said, I care about the lore. So get into the lore.
I don't want to talk about it.
Please and thank you.
The Willing Well is like a mirror.
To the wishing well.
To the Willing Well. It's a mirror that connects the two universes, our fictional or our factual universe with Claudio's fictional universe, and it's a way for writer to pass between worlds. That's what the Willing Well is. That's what the substance is. So, like, I mean, just like real quick, the lore with these 4 things here is Claudio, fictional Claudio believes. Actually, he doesn't really believe. He hates it. But everyone believes Claudio is like the one. They call him the Crowing. He's one that is going to put an end to this other guy who was Ryan Wilhelm or something, some other general but Claudio is going to bring peace to all the land, and he doesn't know how he's going to do it. He doesn't believe that he's the one. And to the end of Keeping Secrets of Silent Earth 3, he says the way he's going to do it is essentially end everything. But he still doesn't quite believe. The writer is saying, yeah, you are the one, but your destiny is to destroy everything, because that's how I'm going to write you. And so then a fight breaks out, and then Claudio tries to like overpower Ryder, but he's the writer. He's the writer of the story, right? You can't. It's this weird fucking meta fight that they have, and like Claudio is this powerful being, and he's tapping into untapped potential and powers that he never knew existed. But really, Ryder's just kind of like, bro, like, this doesn't hurt me. I invented you. And so then he tells him, you are going to destroy everything. Peace out. And then like he goes back to the normal world. And so I think this ends a little like ambiguously with Ryder is telling Claudio, this is what you are going to do because I'm going to write it this way. I'm glad to have met you. Like, goodbye. And that's it. Like, that's how the lore I read into ends. But I think there's a lot of ups and downs and climaxes, but I think the music does follow it.
And so that goes across all 4 parts of the song, right?
Yeah,
or
all
of the
30 minutes
suite of the suite. Yeah, that's what they call it, a suite. That's what it's called. Come
Dude,
on.
sweet,
be classy. So with this first part musically, I mean, the highlight of this first part is the drumming and the palm muted guitars, the way that they just intertwine with one another. I mean, honestly, the drumming on this entire record is so fucking tight. It's so perfect. It adds so much to the character of these songs. The fills that he has on this song, on this record, are just fucking perfect and amazing. And this song
rarely
is no
does
exception.
anything cool.
But he doesn't have to.
He's
but
always just Meg White drumming.
No, he's not though. He's not though. There's some really fucking rad parts on this album. And this song, like there's some crazy math rock kind of weird time signature shit that he does. It's fucking killer. And what's really cool about this song and other parts of this record is that, you know, the palm muted guitars, they're not like big heavy chugging things, but they're still muted. But then everything else, or the drums and the bass, fill in the lower parts, which is normal, obviously. But it's not. It doesn't make it this big heavy chugging song because of the highs and lows of all the instruments. I don't know if I'm not even explaining that correctly. I should probably just stop.
I like this one. I think this one's fucking great. This one's real jammy. It's real prog metally.
It is, yeah.
And like this one, the bass is finally getting its due. The bass is a solid line here. It's in the front. We can notice it. It's not just following the guitar parts. This is great. And I agree. Like everyone's chugging along like it normally does, but this one's like really heavy.
Well, it gets heavier.
It's subconscious heavy though. It's not Metallica heavy where it's right off the bat. Like we're dropping right into the heaviness. It's heavy because of the way the music builds around it, and it gets heavy. I agree. I love that. And this is the one above everything else. This one reminded me of Yes. Some of the great stuff that Yes does, some of that really cool prog stuff, they are doing in this song. And there's, I don't know, there's also some really cool like traditional rock stuff, like the solo. The solo is a really basic traditional rock solo. But there's just so many different genres going in here, and I love it. The song's great.
Yeah, I mean, and also once it builds into that heavier part with the bigger, heavier guitars, because they do get heavier. They stop with the palm mutes. It's big, more, you know, power chords and things like that. And Claudio sings through this like some voice effect to where it makes his voice like a couple octaves lower than normal. So he sounds almost demonic at certain points in the song. And then it just drops down back into kind of what they were doing before, a little bit heavier. And then you get some more solos, some more lead guitar parts. And then it just kind of drops into this crazy math rock part that seamlessly, I don't know how the fuck they did it, but it goes from this math rock thing to this big ballad, big sounding guitars, and then it just kind of fades out, and then that's the end of this part of the song. Like, there are parts that should not transition well, but I don't know what the fuck they do, but it just works. Like math rock into big ballad guitars should never ever work, but it does. I don't get it. I just don't understand it. They're just that musically they're that good, but they rarely ever shine like this. On this,
I think it's because they focus a lot of attention on build up and transitions. They don't ever just drop into a chorus. There's always a reason to drop into a chorus. There's always a reason for a solo to come up, and there's always like a reason for anything to happen in their music. And that's better songwriting. That is how can I make it better but not worse? And that's what they are doing here, because it's super easy to go from math rock to ballad guitars. But it's super
really
hard. Anybody can do it. It's just super hard to do it. It's super
good.
hard. It's super hard to do it and make it sound good.
Yeah. Yes. So getting into the second part real quick. This is a little bit. This is actually shorter. It starts off, with that synth kind of thing going on. Then the acoustic guitar comes in. It's super bouncy, very happy. It sounds like a Weezer song. Like straight up,
is super unusual
song.
and different from this album here.
Yeah, I really think anything they've really done, they've never sounded this pop rock heavy ever. But yeah, straight up Weezer. And even as the song builds a little bit more, like you get the heavier guitars and everything like that, the rhythm section still keeps it bouncy and swingy, even though everything's gotten heavier. And I love that. I really, really love that. They don't have to get into the big, heavy toms and big cymbals and everything like that. They can still keep it very swingy and bouncy. And I thought putting this into the part of the song, overall, it was just fucking perfect. I loved it.
Yeah.
It's fucking great.
This is my favorite of the four, I guess, if I had to rank them. This is probably this one, and then I would say this was my favorite of the four, and then Willing Well 1, and then Final Cut, and then Apollo 2. If I had to rank the four, because I did write them as one song.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, Apollo 2.
Or
okay.
Well
Oh,
3,
yeah,
Apollo 2.
Yeah. Yeah, Apollo 2 was my least favorite as well. I mean, but this one, it just sounds like everything that they've done on most of the record. They didn't really change it up too much. There's some cool drum fills. Halfway through the song, there are moments where like they're kind of battling each other. Like sometimes the bass will kind of do its own little thing, then the guitar lead will do something, drums will do something real quick, then they'll switch off. But otherwise, it's pretty average in the context of the record. I mean, it's definitely my least favorite. The third part is my least favorite of this suite. The
third part.
Yeah.
The fucking part.
The final part is really good though.
There's a part in this one too that pulls from, what is it? Blood Red Summer, right?
Yeah.
Blood Red Summer.
Yeah, Blood Red Summer, yeah.
You can hear the din, and it's like, whoa, that's kind of cool. And then I read other people say that you can also hear Favorite House of Atlantic, some parts of that. I didn't pick that up. You can clearly hear Blood Red Summer, but I didn't pick up any House of Atlantic stuff. But I don't know. It's cool. I think it's fine.
It was my least favorite part, but whatever. It was still really good. But yeah, you just can't compare it to the first two parts of The Willing Well. But then the final part, the fourth part, it's a slower jam. Cut. Yeah, it's a slower jam. It trudges along. Like, I mean, the whole entire song is just kind of the same beat, generally speaking, throughout the entire thing. But it's fine. Like it's still captivating. It still keeps me interested. There's some cool soundscapes. I don't know if it's a synth or guitar feedback or vocals. I'm not sure really what it is, but I think it adds a lot to the overall sound of the song. Some good palm muted, crunchy guitar, but it's not even a build. It's just like a slow, just kind of way to end a record. I have no issues with it at all.
So like when we hear a song like this is a great version of it. But normally when songs are like this, when they're slow and they're like the closer, you think like, oh yeah, this is just their slow song that kind of sucks, and they put it at the end because there's still a melody in the chorus, whatever. Like, this is a closing song for sure. It plays out like one. It sounds like one. and it's a good closing song. But this is a really, really good closing song because they didn't just throw it at the end. It has purpose.
Yeah,
And there's really good guitar work. The wailing of the lead guitar, which I think is what we're talking about. There's like a wailing of a lead guitar over the back and forth single notes of the rhythm. Like that weird noise. I think it's like some type of guitar effect.
Is it? Okay. I couldn't quite place it.
I don't know. I could be wrong, but that's just what I wrote. That's what I put down. But like, dude, that's fucking money. That is so good. That is so rad. And then we get this fucking like Clapton-esque little solo here towards the end that like blends in with some really cool soundscapes.
Yeah. The
And,
solo
like,
in at the end was really cool.
That is not something that Coheed does. It's just a very like stripped down blues Clapton solo. They just don't do that. They don't want to. They don't need to. And they did it here for a minute, and it was kind of cool.
I think it was intentional because they, in the end, the secret song is a homage to Led Zeppelin. I don't know how to pronounce the name of the song. I won't even try it.
Brony soup, brony soup. Anybody that knows Zeppelin will.
Everyone
Maybe that's
knows
a good big fan of Zeppelin will know what brony soup is. Physical
Everyone
Graffiti
knows the
brony
song,
soup, not Zeppelin 3 brony soup. Or Brony Soup Stomp, I think it was called in Zeppelin 3.
Yeah. So it's kind of like an homage to that song. So I think throwing like the blues rock style at the end of it before going into that homage I think it was very fitting. Very, very fitting.
Fuck, man. Such a good album.
That's so fucking good. It is. And like lyrically overall, I'm not going to touch upon each part lyrically, but it follows a lot of the same, depression, betrayal of a partner, just the kind of crazy feelings you feel toward that person for betraying you. And that's just what most of this record, actually all this record is about, is betrayal and heartbreak. That's what it all is. But yeah, this is a killer fucking record. So let's give our final thoughts on this one, and then we will rate this album according to our world famous 3-point rating system, where 3 is a perfect album, 2 is a good album you're going to continue to listen to, 1 is a bad album, give it a shot, and 0 is the worst thing you've ever heard. So what are your final thoughts and your rating? Go.
This is a concept album, and if you couldn't tell by the title, it's the fourth part of it's a concept album.
Yeah.
And so you need to understand that. You need to understand going into this that like through and through, from front to back, this is something that you need to listen to from front to back. And if you take out the words entirely, the lyrics, the words, the vocals entirely, it still follows suit. Like you can still follow this from beginning to end. It still flows nicely. It sets out, it accomplishes what it sets out to do, and it does it really, really well. And unfortunately, Coheed's a band that peaked here. Like this was their peak, and even then, they're not. They're still not like quite like A+ team. They may be like A tier or like B++ tier.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just I think because of their aesthetics, I think because of their devotion to their story, as opposed to like writing just better pop songs, they will never be like A+ tier. It's never going to happen. And that sucks because they are really, really good. They are really talented. They do a lot of really cool stuff, and they've been doing it since fucking day one. Like they've never strayed from the path. They never strayed from who they are as a band, who they are as people in a band. And really it's just Claudio and I think the guitarist who've been there forever.
Yeah, for the
everyone else changes around. But like they are a prog band at heart, and they write music like that, and so you can hear it come through. This album is fucking so good. I listen to this album probably every couple months. Every couple months, I'll throw this on and I'll listen to it front to back, and just I get lost in my books. You know what I mean? I get lost in my books. So given that this is a perfect album. This is a perfect 3. There's not many. There are not many prog bands that can there are not many prog bands that can tell a story, and it's not really told here at all. You have to dig deep into it and go to outside sources. But there are not many prog bands that can tell a story from beginning to end musically. Mm-hmm. Like Yes on Fragile kind of did it. But there's not many bands that can tell a story like musically from front to end that flows, that genre hops, that does it all.
True.
And ends on a high note that's not filler, like in any way, shape, or form. Like this is such, man, the final cut is just such a fucking killer ending to this album. It's impressive.
Yeah, it is. So you give it a perfect 3 out of 3, according to our
I do.
rating
I think
system.
this is a perfect album. I think this one, and I think Second Stage Turbine Blade, their first album, I think that's also a perfect album.
That's a bold statement.
Dude, that one,
Statement.
honestly, that one blew me the fuck away. I cannot believe that these guys wrote an album and said, how can we capture every, what's that band, that horrible band you like, Mindless Indulgences?
Mindless Self-Indulgence?
For Snickers? Yeah. Like that band kind of like captured a niche group of people and played to them. Like Coheed said, how can we do that but with like fucking a ton of genres that are popular right now, but then also still write a good album, but then also like underneath it all write good prog metal, and they did it.
Yeah, they did a good job. That first record really surprised me. I really liked that first record too. But this record, Good Apollo Volume 1, whatever you want to fucking call it, stupid fucking title. It's so annoying.
It's not stupid at all.
It's too long. It's silly. Okay, so this record, I don't like to go into this album thinking about the fictional story. I think that should be completely separate. I don't think it should have any relation to this record. Musically, lyrically, what Claudio, I felt, was going after, on a personal level, I thought it was interesting enough. It was interesting. It was good. I really enjoyed it. The other stuff, the comic stuff, the novelizations, that's cool too. But to combine the both, I think that's reaching. I think that's too much. I just don't dig it. It's not for me. So I think there's some amazing parts on here. Like we've talked about, the heaviness, just the ups and downs of this record. They can do so much. I wish they could do more of the good stuff, because we know they could do it because they do it so fucking well. But just the ups and downs, the sweet, the last 4 songs, absolute for perfection. Those 4 songs, perfection. Welcome Home, perfection. The Suffering, perfection. Just some really, really, truly amazing songs and parts, and I love it. I love this record. I don't go back to it that often, but when I do, I'm just kind of like, dude, why don't I go back to it? I'm blown away every time I hear it, and I really like it. I really love this record, but I don't think it's perfect. I really don't. I don't know, maybe if it's because of the whole comic part of it.
You have this like massive
story.
Like distaste for extracurricular reading.
I like that. No, trust me, I really like that stuff.
That's all you complain about the entire time.
Because I don't think it belongs in the music. I really don't think it belongs in the music at all.
It goes hand in hand.
I think they should be completely separate from one another.
Why?
I really do. I don't like the combination of those two things.
I don't like your fucking dumb
lame.
opinion on that.
Well, it's not that it's lame. It just doesn't fit. I don't feel like it fits. So with that, I'm going to have to give this a 2.75 out of 3. It's not perfect because of that.
Still pretty high.
Yeah, it's not, because it's a fucking great record. You take that comic out of it, it's still a great fucking record.
Let me ask you this.
Ask me this.
When every time you listen to Welcome Home this week, did you play the drum parts too?
Oh, of course, you have to.
Like air drum parts? The doof, 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 dum.
Yeah. And you hit those ride cymbals, that bell on the ride cymbal too.
The tink, tink,
Oh, it's so good. It's so fucking good. You got to do it.
And the guitar part.
Yeah. And just even like the pinch harmonics, even though I'm not good at doing that on a real guitar, I like to air guitar the pinch harmonics too. It's so good.
When you air guitar pinch harmonics, do you like shake your hands?
I do, yeah.
That's exactly what I do. That's fucking how I do pinch harmonics on the air guitar. I shake my hands.
Even when you do it on the guitar, you do a little bit of shake, but it's not as extreme as when I air guitar it. You know what I mean?
Vibrating, yeah.
Because neither of us are good at doing that, but we can kind of do it if we really try. But
the only time I'm good at it is when I'm not meaning to do it.
Oh, that's the best part. Like when you do it by accident, you're like, "Oh my god, that sounds so cool."
You'd never replicate it again.
Yeah. It's always by accident. Oh God, it's terrible. But yeah, I don't know. That's all I got for this goddamn record. Do you have anything else on this one?
No, that's it. That's all.
All right, so yeah, you give it a perfect 3 out of 3. I give it a 2.75 out of 3. So thank you all for listening. Keep listening. Tell all your friends. Tell them how great we are. Give us 5 stars and 5 stars only. And you know what? That's it. That's all.
Claudio Coogan. What's that? I say Sugar Ray. They say, wait, Sugar Ray? I say, yeah, Sugar Ray. They said, the pop band? I said, they ain't pop, brother. They ain't pop here.
All right, there it is.
Right in between Bob Dylan and BT Bam.
Oh, God, Bob Dylan.
Bob Dole. You didn't even say we're going to clap. You just started counting, and I had my phone in my hand, and so I had to toss the phone to the side so I get the clap on the yeah.
I'm sure you did. Yeah. Well.
But like at least nothing's bad. Like honestly, listening to some of the Deftones stuff, like that shit was, some of it was bad, repetitive and bad. This is just it's repetitive for sure, but no, I don't think any of this was bad.
Well, I think your problem with the Deftones stuff was because you didn't listen to any of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're just making it all up. This is the only album that was recorded. Fuck, dude. Let me start the fuck over.